When the next super virus comes that wipes out humanity, one thing's for certain, the apes, they will be here. And I, for one, welcome our new primate overlords. Here are my immediate thoughts on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is the 10th overall installment in the Planet of the Apes franchise and the 4th in the new reboot that included that perfect trilogy with Rise, Dawn, and War of the Planet of the Apes, especially those last two that were directed by Matt Reeves were just brilliant pieces of cinema. Kingdom takes place 300 years after the events of War of the Planet of the Apes and follows a young chimpanzee named Noah who embarks on a journey alongside a human woman named May after the destruction of his home to find his family kidnapped by a charismatic and cruel ape ruler. These events will determine the future for apes and humans alike. Kingdom was directed by Wes Ball, who directed the Maze Runner trilogy, and I'll admit, I've only seen 1.5 of those movies, but after watching Kingdom, kind of makes me want to check out the Maze Runner trilogy proper. And this is one of those circumstances where keeping with the aesthetic of the past movies really works well. This takes place hundreds of years after Caesar, and this feels like a natural progression of those films. The environment of this film, the setting where we have the main ape tribe, where they live amongst these crumbled skyscrapers with all of the brush around them is just great and just looks fantastic. You get a real sense of community for how this ape tribe works. You get a sense of their tribal rituals, how they tease each other for fun, the communication between parents and children, and between siblings. And Josh Friedman's script does a wonderful job of pulling the audience in and making you really care for these characters. The film also does a really good job of showing us how these apes survive and communicate in this world. In the last trilogy, the apes communicated more with signs and everything. Caesar was really the one that communicated vocally the most. But here, the apes, for the most part, I would say 90% of the times, are communicating vocally. And the dialogue sounds like natural progression. Sure, it is still a little bit broken English, but it has evolved enough that these apes are able to communicate complex ideas to each other vocally. Also, because it is a sequel of the past Planet of the Apes trilogy, this feels like a natural progression of Caesar's story, and even though he is gone, his presence still looms very heavy over the story, and it is his teachings that are the thematic anchors for this movie and are still very relevant today. But let's talk about the performances, which most of them are motion capture. Owen Teague is great as Noah, the chimpanzee that goes on this quest to rescue his family from the main bad guy, and his performance is really great, and he is so good at emoting, and the special effects for this film is so top-notch, and they are so good at capturing the emotions of these actors. It is so good. There was never a time I did not believe I was watching real apes in this film. But back to Owen Teague and the character of Noah, who has a great character arc, as when the film begins, he's living a simple life with a simple tribe, but when the film ends, everything he knew and believed in was completely shattered, and I think that through Noah, we are seeing the emergence of a new ape leader. It is a great motion capture performance. Teague plays off Noah's determination, fear, curiosity, and anger so well. It is such a good performance, and once again, I just have to applaud the special effects team for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes for doing the motion capture and mixing the human emotions with the ape faces and getting all of that mixed together. Such a great job by the special effects team. Kudos to all of them involved. Our main villain is Proximus Caesar, played by Kevin Durand, who I just spotlighted in Abigail, and this dude is amazing. Proximus is one of those leaders who has taken Caesar's teachings and has twisted it for his own gains and to expand his own kingdom. But at the same time, the dude is so charismatic, you can see why other apes would follow him. And this is all despite him doing some truly heinous things, especially since he is all for the genocide of all humanity. But Durand plays Proximus like a pro wrestling heel, speechifying his logic, and it is just a great, charismatic performance by Kevin Durand, and one that it's clear that he was having a hell of a time with, and I just had fun with that performance as well. Freya Allan plays May, one of the main human characters in the movie, and she's really good here. When I walked into the movie, I actually thought, based on the trailers, that she was going to be someone that is going to need more help by the apes, and she does, but she is not helpless. In fact, May just may be the most complex character in the entire movie, as she carries secrets about humanity's past and has a bit of a duplicitous nature to her. Is her alliance with Noah genuine or really just a means to an end? May makes a decision in this movie that really caught me off guard and made me think to myself, well, is Proximus right about what he's thinking about humanity? Through the character of May, we get a lot of really interesting and complex questions about morality and who we should root for in these films. Peter Macon plays Raka, an orangutan that follows Noah and May on their journey, and it is a great nuanced performance. Raka is the last of his tribe that believed in the pure teachings of Caesar, especially that first commandment, which is apes are not supposed to harm other apes. Raka is just a great sage and is another side of the same coin that sort of blows Noah's preconceived notions of the world apart, the same May does from another angle. There is one more big name character actor that's in this movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but they showed up and caught me completely off guard. And I was like, hey, and it's a great little performance. And it shows exactly how far some humans would go to survive in this new inverted world where apes are at the top of the food chain. It is a great performance and a litany of great performances for this specific character actor. Let's talk about the special effects, which are among some of the best I have ever seen. We are looking at these photorealistic apes, and they're doing all sorts of things in all these different environments under all sorts of lighting conditions, and it all just looks quality. We follow these apes as they climb mountains to get eagle eggs, as they fall through fire, and as they're plunged through floods, and everything looks so photorealistic. Them interacting with the human characters, there was never a time I did not believe what I was seeing on the screen was real. It is absolutely breathtaking special effects, and I really hope the Academy Awards recognizes this film next year for some of the achievements in special effects that these guys are pulling off. It is astounding. But this movie could have all the best special effects in the world. If the story was shit, it would all be meaningless. But I am happy to say that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, when it comes to story, is definitely on par with the last trilogy. We have all sorts of multifaceted characters intermingling with each other, and all sorts of new environments and new challenges, and the action just escalates, and when we get to the third act, everything reaches a fever pitch and shit just gets real. Now, this movie doesn't have the same scope as War of the Planet of the Apes, but it is still more action-packed, I think, than Rise and Dawn. And knowing that this movie cost less than $200 million to make, I hope is a good sign and good indicator that Hollywood is realizing they don't need balloon budgets to tell a good story. I also want to give a shout out to the score that was conducted by John Pisano, who threw in little bits and pieces of the original Planet of the Apes score by Jerry Goldsmith in there. I hear those xylophones. I hear you, movie. I hear you. Overall, Kingdom for the Planet of the Apes for me is one of the best movies out this year. Point blank. We got a great coming-of-age story and introduction of a new compelling character that I am excited to follow as he navigates a world that shattered what he once knew. The acting, mixed with the motion capture special effects, is outstanding. In fact, the special effects in this film is among some of the best I have ever witnessed, and I saw this on IMAX where I could see every ape hair in perfect detail. We got introduced to a world that at once feels a little familiar with the apes taking over, but still fresh enough as the world is still new enough to explore. The film tackles some extremely relevant themes without being too heavy-handed about it, and it brings out some surprising elements, twists, and character developments. The cinematography and editing was top-notch, and man, did this movie fly by for me. I was never bored. This is a great start to a new trilogy. Bring on the next Apes movie. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is a prestige film for me. Yes, this movie is that good. See this in IMAX, see this with the best sound. Apes together aren't only strong, but they're strong box office as well. What did you think of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.